Good morning and welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. I'm Brian Moritz. Today I'm going to be walking you around a 2022 Newmar Ventana 4334. So brand new floor plan for Newmar Ventanas for 2022. And the cool thing about this one is this is actually the show model. So we're going to show you some of the new features that Newmar incorporated in the 2022 models of the Ventana. So normally I start outside. Today we're going to start inside. We'll walk back to the bedroom and we'll work our way forward. So this is a 43-foot motorhome, 4 slides, single split bath, but a really cool floor plan. Might actually be my new favorite here. So here in the bedroom, we've got the 72 by 80 king bed with windows on either side of it, and those are opening windows, so you can open those up and get a nice cross breeze going. We've got storage underneath the bed. Right there we'll see our 2 folding chairs for the table. Now if you don't foresee yourself having people in your motorhome with you, you can go ahead and take those out, leave them in the garage at home, and have more storage underneath the bed. Up above the bed, we've got just our normal cabinets that we see in Newmar Ventanas. 2 110 volt outlets on either side. We have little pass-through holes, so if we needed to run power cords or something down through, we can, and plug it into the outlet in that cabinet. Now, also up underneath the cabinets there, we've got a switch pack or buttons that are going to turn on lights, that kind of stuff, so we can do it from bed without having to get out. Here in the very back, huge hanging wardrobe. 4 outlets total, and then on the other side, you can see there's a safe set back into the wall. Turn that light on for you. And then just to the side of that, we've got our splendid stacked washer and dryer. Now what I really like about this floor plan is we are unobstructed getting into the washer and dryer. You'll see some floor plans where you got a wall against your back or something, but here it's completely open. Plenty of room to open and close both doors. Put your laundry in, pull it out without fighting a cramped area. On the door side, we've got a 43-inch Samsung HD TV. Now this cabinet right above the TV is going to be your AV compartment. So we've got an HDMI cord here, a cable in, and some power outlets. So that if you use the satellite that's on the roof of this motorhome, you can go ahead and put the receiver right here. And then this is just a glass panel, so your remote will work even if this cabinet is closed. 2 more storage cabinets. Now all the cabinets in here are going to be carpet lined on the bottom, just to keep things from sliding around and rattling while you're driving down the road, and that's going to be all the cabinets inside of this motorhome. Down below we've got a nice solid surface countertop, great place to put phone, keys, wallet, that kind of stuff while you're going to bed. Really big wardrobe drawers. Notice everything is soft closing. So what's cool about soft closing drawers in motorhomes is it also helps keep them from flying open while you're driving down the road. If you take a tight curve or something, you don't have to worry about your drawers flying open and getting damaged. So coming forward, we walk right into the split bath here. Very important to note, there is just a pocket door right there. So it closes off the bedroom from the bathroom. And then on the other side, we've also got another pocket door to close off the bathroom from the rest of the coach. Now this split bath is pretty nice. It's very, very big. So here we've got the dual sinks, undermount sinks on a solid surface countertop. Up above, we've got medicine cabinet all the way across. Now in this bathroom, we've also got separate vanity lights. We can control every light in here separately. So I've got the ceiling lights off, or on, the vanity lights off. And then push a button, your vanity lights come back on. And that's all controlled right here at this stack of buttons. And you'll find those throughout the coach. There's a total of 9 of these packs throughout the coach. And you can control each light individually from those packs. Down below the countertop, nice big cabinets. Actually got 2 of them. Great place to store all your extra toiletries. And then in the middle, we've got a bank of 3 drawers. Again, all quiet closing. For things like toothpaste, toothbrushes, hairbrushes, all that stuff. Now also up underneath this cabinet, we've got 4 110 volt outlets, hair dryer, shaver, whatever you need, you've got outlets for it. And then here in the center, we do have a max fan on the roof. The remote for that max fan's right here. So push a button, the fan's gonna go ahead and open up. And then once it's all the way open, it'll go ahead and kick on. Now that is an exhaust fan, so it's actually gonna pull air out, not in. Oh, I gotta actually turn it on. But, so cool to have a max fan here in the center of the motorhome as well. Now, on the opposite side of the sink, we've got a 40-inch by 32-inch shower. Very residential feeling when you climb inside. We're gonna close that. Lots of room in here. We do have dual sprayers, so we've got just the rain shower head as well as the sprayer wand. This sprayer wand can move up and down as needed, and then obviously you can just take it off and move it around to wherever. Right here we just have the buttons to turn on each sprayer valve, and then a recirculation valve so that the cold water in the lines doesn't come out first. This does have on-demand hot water using the Oasis system. So basically what that recirculation valve does is take all the water that's already existing in those lines, dumps it back into the fresh water tank so you're not wasting any water, and once it's ready, it'll give you a little light saying you have hot water, and then you can open up that valve and have hot water instantly. Very important, I'm gonna switch your sides here. Very important, in this bathroom, we have a huge linen closet. So things like extra towels, great place to keep them, or if you need it, it's also extra bedroom storage, or if you have guests, it's a great place for them to keep their clothes and belongings as well. And then towards the front of the bathroom, we've got the actual toilet in its own little separate room. More toiletry storage up above that toilet. And then also in this bathroom, we've got the emergency egress door. So if you ever needed to, you could jump out here. There's a little ladder that pops down out of this compartment, so you can get in and out safely in case there's a fire or something in the front of the coach and you can't get out there. So coming up now, we're kind of in the front side of the motor, front half of the motorhome. So I'm going to talk about what makes the 4334 a really, really cool floor plan. The events of the last year and a half are kind of what inspired this floor plan. So we've got an actual workstation desk here. So little rolling chair. Now there is a little strap underneath the chair to keep it from rolling around while you're driving down the road. I'm just going to push it out of the way for now. Down below, we've got a nice little storage thing. Pens, pencils, sticky notes, that kind of stuff. Very important in my opinion. All the way below the desk, we've got another big shelf. Now there is 2 110 volt power outlets right next to that. So if you needed like a printer or something, this is actually a big enough space that you could throw that printer right there. It's out of the way, you don't have to worry about it. And then, just to give you kind of a reference, this desk, I mean, it's huge. You could easily have a laptop and a monitor. We've got another power outlet here. This is just a 110 volt, as well as 2 USBs. There's a pass-through right here, so we could take a power cord from that outlet all the way up through to the top of the desk if we needed to. But easy enough space for 2 monitors set up right here. There's also a nice little window right next to the desk. Obviously, if you're working in your motorhome, you're not at home, you want to be able to look out and see the scenery. Maybe you're parked next to the ocean, parked in the forest, who knows. But really cool to have the nice window. Up top, big cabinet with an adjustable shelf so we can move this up and down as needed. We can even add another shelf in there if you wanted to. Again, carpet lined, but a great place to keep all your work items. And then one more smaller cabinet all the way at the top. So really, really cool feature for those of you that are working on the road, to have the space dedicated to do it so you don't have to modify anything in your existing RV. All right, so coming into the kitchen area, nice big pantry, pull out drawers all the way down. Now they do push to lock, so if you push it all the way in, push it just a little farther, and they'll lock in place so that they're not moving around while you're driving down the road. Now these shelves can also be adjustable up and down, so we can set them at the height that you need them at. Down below that, we've got our central vacuum system. So there's a toolkit for that, which will have a hose that will reach anywhere in this motorhome, or we have the toe kick, so we could just sweep all of our dirt right here, kick that on, it'll just suck it down into the vacuum beneath the coach, which we'll show you when we get to the outside. In the kitchen, nice cabinets. Now this cabinet color is the Arctic Glazed Maple. Newmar does an awesome job by making this a pull-out, so if you had, you know, plates and stuff in there, you could pull them out to you rather than having to reach all the way back into that cabinet. This shelf, carpet lined up top, also adjustable up and down if needed. Another shelf, or another cabinet, a little bit smaller, but again, adjustable shelf up and down. Up above the microwave, this is where I would keep all my spices for my motorhome. One more really big cabinet, and this can come out. This is going to be all of our manuals, or your manuals for the motorhome. Again, all these shelves are adjustable. 30-inch Whirlpool convection microwave. And then down below that, we've got the solid surface countertop. Really cool. Newmar puts cutting boards in the bottom side of their stove covers, something you don't have to worry about bringing with you. Now, the Newmar Ventana still is a propane coach standard. This one we have upgraded to be all electric, and what that's going to give you is the 2-burner true induction cooktop, bigger generator, and a different battery bank and refrigerator. But the cool thing about true induction cooktops is if you wanted to go cook outside, all you have to do is lift up on it, little power cord, unplug it, take it outside, and you can barbecue outside. Then when you get back in, just plug it in, push the cord back a little ways so you don't crush it, and drop it back into its slot. Now there is storage for both the sink covers as well as the stove covers underneath the sink. So if you didn't want these here, you can completely take them off and just put them underneath the sink, and I'll show it to you in just a second. Over to the right of that, 2-bowl undermount stainless steel sink. Residential style faucet, which does have the sprayer mode, and it can move around as needed for doing dishes. Back to doing dishes, little storage here. This is gonna be great for your scrubbers, sponges, things like that. And then all the way below the sink, we've got the little trash can area, and just more storage for all your kitchen essentials, things like dish soap, hand soap, that kind of stuff. One more big drawer. Now you could use this as extra spice storage, or knives, cutlery, that kind of stuff. Pasta spoons. So one thing I really like about the 4334 floor plan is this is a huge counter space. There's a lot of prep space here. One thing that people always ask is, where do I put my coffee maker? Well, on the 4334, you could actually just slide it all the way back here. That way it's out of the way. Now we've got power for it. Right up underneath this cabinet, there's 2 110 volt outlets. So, or your Instant Pot, your crock pot, whatever, there's plenty of room back behind the sink here to be able to put that stuff on the counter and not have to worry about it. And then, if you're using up some of your counter space for stuff like that, we've got the countertop extension. There's just a little push button right here under the countertop that pulls this out. 2 really big deep drawers in that countertop extension. And then when you're done with it or ready to travel, push the button and away it goes. Nice silverware drawer. Really big deep drawers all the way down. So coming over to the other side of the motorhome, I mentioned earlier that we made this one an all electric, so that means that we got the Whirlpool 19 cubic foot residential refrigerator. Now, I'm not plugged in, I don't have the generator running or anything right now. This is just running directly off of the inverter and batteries. freezer drawer down below. Now we do have water in the door as well as the ice maker. And then coming forward, we've got the buffet style table and chairs. So the table will actually pull out or push in. There's no lock or anything to it. It just is kind of a friction lock setup. But makes that table big enough that you could have 4 people sit there if needed. And that's why we have the 2 folding chairs that I showed you underneath the bed earlier. Now, very important for the couples that will be working in motorhomes together, this is probably the best table setup for it, because we've got the storage underneath here as well. So that's another adjustable shelf. Now, why I say this is if, let's say you didn't want to put the printer or something underneath that desk, we've got another spot down here where we could put it. There's power in this cabinet as well as lots of storage. Another huge storage. So for those of you who will be working in your motorhome, this is, you know, a great place to keep your files, things like that. They're out of the way, but still easily accessible. Drawers. And one really big drawer. So, but on this table setup, we've got 2 110 volt outlets on either side of the table, as well as power underneath. So if there's more than one person working in here, this is another great flexible place to work where you have power and storage at your disposal. Put those back. All right, so coming forward here on the door side, we've got the 74-inch jackknife sofa sleeper. So if you have guests with you, this one just jackknifes down, 74 inches long. At 6 feet tall, I could sleep on it if I needed to. I just have to sleep sideways, but great for grandkids or kids. Put that one back. Now, over on the off-door side, or the driver's side, we've got the 84-inch sofa sleeper. Now this one's actually going to be a hide-a-bed. So to make this one, go ahead and pull all your cushions off. All right, and then there's a latch right here. Move these out of the way. So just pull it down. Now, once we actually take the plastic off, this will actually kind of puff up and look more comfortable. But that's more of if you have adults that are coming with you and need a place to sleep. And it's 84 inches wide on the couch. Push that back down. But very easy to set up and take down. And then you just have to put your cushions back. Now with the 84-inch sofa sleeper, we chose the option for the 2 storage ottomans. So that's going to be these. So pull that off. We've got a nice storage place, probably fit a couple blankets or your board games or something in there. There's 2 ways you can put this lid on, like that, so it's more the height of the couch. Or if you flip it back over like this, it's just a solid surface, so you could put drinks, stuff like that on it without having to worry about it, you know, falling over because it's soft. And then when it's time to travel, all you gotta do is flip them upside down on the couch. You don't want to put them the right side up because these legs will damage the couch. So you just flip them upside down and away you go. So that pretty much is gonna wrap up our walkthrough of the house. I'm gonna go ahead and close these slides up so you can see it closed, and then we'll work on the chassis stuff. So like I said, this is a 4-slide model. The 2 slides for the bedroom are all the way in the back. And the controllers are just right here in the bedroom. Now Newmar does this so that you have to be back here watching these slides. That way you don't risk damaging something. So while we've got just kind of a lull here This particular 43-foot coach is equipped with three 15,000 BTU air conditionings, and those are all going to be on the roof. Couple other options we put on them that are that we put on it that are noteworthy is 4 100-watt solar panels. So we've got 400 watts of solar on the roof, and then completely brand new for the 2022 Newmar Ventana, we've got electric radiant floor heat. So this used to be an option that you could get from the Dutch Star up, and now it's available on the Ventana. Now the controls for that are kind of spread out. So back in the back, we've got one control in the bedroom, we've got one in the middle, and we've got one way up front. So we can actually control the floor heat in 3 zones, front, middle, rear. Very, very cool. Every year it seems like the Ventana just gets closer and closer to the Dutch Star while still maintaining about $100,000 difference in base prices. So now we're gonna close up these 2 mid-room slides. Now another thing I think is very cool about this 4334 is that desk area. You can leave that chair there and still put your slides in and travel without you having to worry about finding a place to put the chair. Seems simple, but very, very important in my opinion. All right, so that one's all the way in. Last slide out to come in. So basically for slide out, you just hold the button until it stops, and then you're good to go. So it's important to see a motorhome closed up before you make the purchase on it. This particular one has more room than most in terms of walk space while you're completely closed up. So we can walk all the way back here, open the refrigerator, open the freezer, and now I'm in this mid-bath. So what's really cool about split baths is there's no real pinch point in here. So there's like plenty of room. I can open this door all the way up for the bathroom or the toilet. Now, if I was just gonna stop for a night or something, you know, I don't have to open the slides up in order to use this motorhome. I can still get back to the bedroom. Now, I don't have the ability to walk around the bed or open these drawers without opening this slide, but I can still get back here, rest my eyes. Let's just say I'm on a long road trip and just wanna pull over for an hour. I don't have to do anything, just turn the engine off, maybe fire up the generator to get this air conditioning going, and boom, we're sleeping. So, honestly, probably my new favorite floor plan of the Ventana is going to be the 4334, just because of the accessibility and versatility of this floor plan. So, before we get too much into the cab stuff, right above the cab, you just saw me close up the slides using this panel. This is going to be all of our general coach controls. So we got our Wi-Fi Ranger up top. Right here we've got the controls for our Winegard Traveler. That's going to be a stationary HD satellite that's already installed on the roof. Awning controls for the door awning. Awning controls for our 2 patio awnings. Wi-Fi Ranger stuff or controller. Power control. So right now it's just going to tell me that I don't have any power service. Again, I'm not running the generator and I'm not on shore power, so I don't have any service. But if I plugged it in or ran the generator, it would tell me how many amps I have coming in and how many amps I have going out. Security lights for the passenger side. Controls for the Oasis system. That's going to be our on-demand hot water as well as our furnace. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Slide out controls. And then our Magnum 3000 watt inverter. Now right here we can turn it on and off. That's what's going to power our refrigerator while we're driving down the road, or if we're out boondocking. This is where we're actually going to derive the power for the refrigerator and other appliances. Last but not least, in this panel we've got just a little touchscreen here. This is going to give us all of our tank levels as well as our battery levels, but more importantly in my opinion, it's also going to be all of our HVAC controls. Notice we do have zone control, so we have living room, kitchen, bedroom, So we can set those all at different temperatures if we need to, and then scroll through the options for cool, auto, furnace, whatever you need at that particular time. Coming down into the cab area. So for driving these motorhomes, the seat is power down below, so we can move it forward and back as needed. Now, the tilt for the back is the only manual adjustment that you have to do. But we also have the tilt and telescoping steering wheel. Now this particular Ventana is built on a Freightliner chassis. There is an option for the Spartan chassis out there if you want it. So we're just gonna go ahead and fire it up so you can see everything kind of lit up. Over on my left side, we've got the control pad for our equalizer system. Now that is our auto leveling jacks. So if I wanted to level this motorhome, all I have to do is hit power, all my red lights will come on, and then hold auto level for about a second and then release it. It'll drop all my jacks, drop my airbags, and level me out. Right here, we've got our tag dump. So if we ever got stuck in a sticky situation where we needed more weight on our drive axles, we could actually dump that tag axle just by pushing it to the manual like I did. Now it does illuminate a warning on the dash saying that my tag axle is dumped. You can drive with it dumped, the ride's just not going to be quite as good as if you had it. And then the switch for my air horn, so we have two horns. We've got just the standard city horn, and then if I flip the switch, we've got an air horn or your highway horn. Over here, we've got power adjusting mirrors on both the left and right side. So pick your side, up, down, left, right. And then we've also got heated mirrors for those cold and foggy days. Light controls, if you pull out on it, you also get your fog lights. Dome lights, just for if you're sitting in here and need to read a map or something, you've got a dome light. House and chassis battery boost, so if one of your battery packs ever died, you could actually pull power off of the other one to get going. The most common instance is your chassis battery dies and you can't get it started. You hold down the chassis button, it'll actually take the power from the house batteries and feed the chassis batteries so you can get the engine started. So over here, OptiView dash. So really easy LCD dash. We've got our primary and secondary air tanks, our RPMs, our speedometer, water temperature, diesel fuel level, battery voltage, and then oil pressure, all right there. It's very, very easy to see, and what I like about it, some screens get glares on them, but pretty much no matter what, you won't ever get a glare on it with the way the screen is set up. And now we can also scroll through options, see gauges. So right here I've got my diesel exhaust fluid level, my turbo PSI, and my barometric pressure. I can scroll through a laundry list of options there. The next option is going to be our fuel economy. That's going to be instant fuel economy. It also gives us a distance until empty. And then vehicle configuration. Now what's important here is your comfort drive adjustment. So comfort drive is something Newmar puts on, and it's an electronic assist that pretty much varies how much torque you need to put on the steering wheel to turn it. Now if I was rolling and playing with this, as soon as I let go of the steering wheel, it would go back to center. It's not going to let me do it right now because I'm sitting still. Over on the left side, your standard controls for your blinkers. So down is left, up is right, and then your windshield wiper control as well. And you also have just a wash button just to spray the windshield off. Now that's also going to have the controls for our high beams. Now if you pull it up on, hold on it, it'll stay on high beams, or if you just push it down, it'll go to high beams as well. Now over on the right side, this is going to be the more important stock. So this is actually how we shift our transmission. So if I push this little wheel forward, it goes into drive. If I put it to the center, we're in neutral, and if I put it back, we're in reverse. Now, very important, this is also how we turn on and off our engine brakes. So on the stock, it actually is labeled low, medium, high, and it'll also pop up on the dash. But all I do, pull down on it, and there's 3 different detents there. So right now I'm on high, medium, low, and then off. Now, if you're driving, you can't move the steering wheel out of the way to see it, so it does illuminate right here on the dash as well. So I just put it in high, and it tells me that I have a high engine brake on. Now, over to the right side, Newmar does an awesome job by doing dual screen setup. So this Voyager screen right here is solely for cameras. Now, if I turn on my left blinker, It's going to show me the left side of the motorhome. And if I turn on my right blinker, we're going to see a door because the door is open, but that's the right side of the motorhome. This screen over here, this is going to be our radio. They call it the media center. So we've got radio, AM, FM, Bluetooth, and Sirius XM, or there is an auxiliary port as well. More camera control, so we can see the 360-degree camera. It's kind of looking down from the top, gives you a good view of what's around you, and it also shows you the back. Now we can also change it and show the front, or the left or the right, whatever we need. And then most importantly, here we've got the Nav and Go system. So this is new for 2022. We went away from Rand McNally and came to Nav and Go. Very similar setup. If we want to type in our destination, all we have to do, hit the little arrows, new route, and then let's just say, so we'll just go, and as I type it in, it's going to auto-populate different options for me to go to. So that's set on like landmark setup, so we can change it and type in an address. We can type in, you know, just a place. Let's just say we want to go to Yellowstone National Park. We could type in Yellowstone. It'll get us the best route there. You can also change your route preferences on that. So if you want to do a lot of highway driving, get there quickly, you can set it for highway. If you want to see more scenic or areas of America, you could set it on scenic mode, and it'll take you on some more of the back roads and cool ways to go. Down below, very important, we've got the controls for our visor and shade. Now this is going to be for the front of the motorhome. It won't let me go all the way down because I have the key on, but if I shut it off, this is just going to be our day shade. So it's really good at keeping glares off of you, makes you not have to wear sunglasses. And then the next one's going to be our night shade. This one's going to be full privacy shade, completely black out the motorhome. Now the next switch here is going to be the overhead fans that are up behind this cabinet. Now think of those as additional defrosters. So if you turn those on a snowy day, it'll help keep the windshield from fogging up. Right next to that switch, we've got a high, medium, and low. That's going to be for the overhead fans. Start and stop the generator, and then a front fan for the Oasis system. If it was ever really cold, motorhomes struggle keeping the cab warm. So we've got the front fan for the Oasis system, which is our furnace to put some additional heat inside of this cab. Standard HVAC controls, entry, lock and unlock, and then 360 camera select, which is for that camera screen we were on earlier. And then this coach also has the option for the 43-inch Samsung HD TV in the overhead, and then a little bit of storage for the passenger area. So over here on the passenger side, a couple things I want to talk about. First, we've got another set of buttons here for lights. What's really cool about this particular stack is we can turn all the ceiling lights on and off at the push of a button. So as I walk in, I can literally just go hit the top two buttons and all my ceiling lights come on. And then there's more individual lights that you can go through, you know, slide lights, things like that. Down below that, this is the front control for our radiant or electric tile floor, the radiant heat electric tile floor. So we've got a high, medium, and low setting for the heated floor as well. For the passenger convenience, we've also got two 110-volt outlets with USBs, and then a wireless charging for your cell phone, a map light switch, patio light switch, and then the step cover that comes out so that your passengers' feet aren't hanging in a hole all the time while you're driving down the road. So it comes up, goes flush. Now this does have the capacity where you could step on it if you needed to, or stand on it. You could also have your dog lay on it, that kind of thing. And it's all at the push of the button. And away it goes. All right, so that's pretty much gonna wrap up the interior of the motorhome. Head on outside now. So the first thing I want to point out is this is the Colfax graphics. Okay, so that's going to be this paint scheme. This is a paint scheme. There's no stickers, no decals they're going to crack, peel, and fade over time. 100% paint, okay? Next thing you'll see, we've got the option for the 2 Girard Nova awning packages, or 2 Girard Nova awnings. So those are electric. We've got 3 different ways we can put them out. 1 in the control panel up above the driver's head. 2, this nice little remote in my hand. Push a button and away they go. Now there is 2 separate awnings here, and I can control them individually. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this one in. Oh, if I hit the right button, it helps a lot. So now I'm just retracting this front awning. Now, very important in these awnings as well, there's these nice LED light strips. I'll turn on this back one so you can get a good look at it. But nice LED light strips so that if you're sitting outside at night, you're not sitting in the dark. You also have passenger lights that we can turn them on just to keep it nice and bright outside. Go ahead and retract that one now. So these awnings also have wind sensors built into them, so if you were ever away from your coach for a few minutes and the wind started to pick up, it would go ahead and retract these awnings. Not a system that I recommend relying on, but it's there in case of emergency. So up in the front, we've got one of the fuel fills. Now this Newmar Ventana does have 100 gallons of diesel fuel. We've got dual side fuel fills, so you can do it from either side. Now what's really cool is we've got the bigger nozzles here. So you take it to a truck stop and use the big nozzles. It fills 100 gallons a lot faster than just your standard nozzles you see at a normal gas station. The first compartment on this motorhome is just a nice big storage. Now this particular 4334 is prepped for the outside refrigerator freezer. So we've got the 2 110 volt outlets as well as a 12 volt outlet. So if you wanted to put the refrigerator freezer on a tray, you could put it in this compartment. All right, so the second compartment is going to be a full pass-through with the storage tray. Now the dimensions of this tray are 26 inches wide by 91 inches long. So the full width of the motorhome makes your storage, or the things that you store underneath, a lot more accessible while you're out camping. So in the sidewall, we've got the option for the 43-inch Samsung HD TV and then the Bose soundbar. So we've got 2 remotes here, just the Bose soundbar remote as well as the remote for the TV. So we've also got additional power in here. So we've got one 110 volt outlet as well as 2 USBs. So if you needed to charge your phone or something, you could do that from outside. Third compartment, we've got another pass-through bay. Now this one does not have a tray in it, but if you wanted to, here at Transwest, we can easily add a tray to it. We would actually just order the same tray that's in the front. And then your half bay, again, no tray, but if we wanted to, we could add a tray to it. Important to note, there's 2 more 110 volt outlets there. So again, if you needed power outside, they put it everywhere they could. And then over to the right side, this is our central vacuum system. So that's going to be a 110 volt appliance. It is on the inverter. As you saw, I turned it on earlier, but this is going to be where you're going to change your bag, your filter, that kind of stuff. So this bay is just a pegboard. You see it a lot in garages and stuff. If it were me, I'd be keeping extra tools, maybe a couple extra quarts of oil, things like that in this bay, just so it's all organized. You can hang them up. You can go to Ace Hardware or Home Depot and get the actual hanging straps for the pegboards. And then all the way in the back, this is just going to be our chassis batteries. So these 2 batteries, their sole purpose is to start the engine of this motorhome. Now we do have a battery disconnect here, so if we were putting it in storage for an extended period of time, we could turn them off completely so that they don't draw and die. You don't come back to a dead coach. So coming back, full fiberglass rear cap, you saw it inside, but we've got the HD camera up top. Now what's cool about that camera is if you put it in reverse, it's actually got a microphone in it. So if there's someone back here guiding me, I don't have to be standing to the side hoping you can see me. I can actually just talk to you. You'll be able to hear me in the cab. It just plays through the cab radios. Now this entire motorhome is built on the Freightliner XCR chassis. It's powered by a 400 horsepower Cummins ISL. So that's a 9-liter Cummins, 400 horse, 1,250 foot-pounds of torque. Rear mounted radiator. Now, if we open up this hood, which I'm gonna show you how to remove the ladder first. Another cool feature, this is an option as well, is the ladder on the Newmar Ventana. Now, if you didn't want it or worried about it getting stolen or something, you can actually just take it off, 2 quick release pins, and it just hangs on the top. So if we open up this engine cover, a couple things to look at. We've got our transmission dipstick, our oil fill, our engine oil fill, and then the oil dipstick, all very easy to access if you needed to. Coolant reservoir up top, again, very easy. There's actually a level check window right here so we can see how much coolant is in the motorhome without having to take this cover off. And then power steering fluid as well, easy to see the level of it. It's labeled, so you got max hot, max cold, min cold, minimum cold. And then the reset for your air filter indicator. Now when it's time to get going again, if you want to put your ladder on, just hang it up on the bottom step, push your little pins in, and it's locked on there secure. It's not going to bounce around or anything, cause any damage while you're driving down the road. Coming over to the driver's side of the motorhome. Now this is kind of an interesting little storage bay. It's a pass-through on these two. So if it were me, I'd find a way to put my folding lawn chairs and stuff like that in this compartment, or maybe my tow bar if I'm towing a vehicle, that kind of thing. I forgot to mention it on the back. This does have a 2-inch receiver with a 15,000 pound towing capacity, as well as a 1,500 pound vertical weight capacity. Now the Newmar Ventana on a Freightliner chassis also comes with the brake seat connector, which is going to be, if you're using the Air Force One system on your tow vehicle, you can just plug in your airline directly to the RV. You don't have to modify the RV at all. Forward to that, we've got our 15-gallon diesel exhaust fluid tank. Now this tank does have an indicator, so it has empty, half full, 3/4, but it does have a gauge on there to tell you how much is in it. That way you don't have to go inside to look. A little bit of hose storage for that gray and black tank hose. And then moving forward, our water bay. So this is the new water bay. They started in 2021, continuing it in 2022. Stainless steel here. We've got the exterior hot and cold shower, low point drains for our hot and cold water lines, the winterization valve, water pump on and off switch, so we can turn that water pump on from here and use this exterior shower. The fill valve, so this is going to choose how we fill the water tank, whether it be manual fill or auto fill. The sewage rinse for the black tank, whole house water filter, and then right here we've got our water supply hose on a reel, so we can pull that out, push a button, and away it goes when we're done camping. Very nice clean bay. What's really cool is these are actually etched on. All the labels on here are etched on. They're not stickers, so they're not going to crack and fade and fall off over time and make you not remember what each thing does. Next compartment, we've got our 50 amp power cord on a reel as well. So 50 amp power cord, 50-foot cord, manual extend, just pull on it, and then when you're done camping, push the button, it sucks itself back in. Now we've also got our charge controller for our solar panels, as well as cable in case you weren't using the satellite dish. Going back to the water tank, or the water bay here, this coach comes standard with 105 gallons of fresh water, 75 gallons of gray water, and 55 gallons of black water, which is a cool improvement. That's a little bit more than what they were offering in the 2020 and 2021 models. So it's nice that you have a little bit more water capacity, especially for you boondockers who don't always have a water supply available. Right here, we've got the Oasis Chinook system. This is going to be our on-demand hot water, as well as our furnace for this motorhome. That is going to use diesel fuel or electricity. Again, this is an all-electric coach. There is no propane for it to burn. The other side of our pass-through bay, again, like I said earlier, we can put a tray in here if you wanted to, but right now it's just an open pass-through bay. Now this is the pass-through bay with a tray. So what's cool about these trays is they come out 60% either direction. And they're very easy to pull out and push back in. It really does not take a lot of work, even if it's completely full. Up front, 8 6-volt AGM house batteries on a tray. So these are golf cart batteries, or golf cart style batteries. So 2 mechanical pins there, and then just pull on it and your batteries come out to you. Now what's very important is if you're the kind of person who would change your batteries yourself, you don't have to reach back into that bay with a 60-pound battery in order to get to it. You just pull it out to you, and then you're completely unobstructed putting your batteries in your motorhome. Very important that you always remember to put your pins back in. That is a very heavy tray. We don't want it flying open and damaging this door while you're driving down the road. And then we've got the other side fuel fill, like I said, dual side fuel fill. So you can actually put 2 nozzles in this to fill that 100 gallons of diesel fuel. And then up in the very front, just an electronic compartment. This is going to house all our fuses and circuit breakers for the chassis itself. Coming around the front, let's just talk about this for a second. The stock number of this unit is 5N210624. Again, it's a 2022 Newmar Ventana 4334. So brand new floor plan for the Newmar Ventana. This particular coach is beautiful. I really like the blues that Newmar's coming out with on the exteriors, as well as the Arctic Glaze Maple on the inside. The floor plan is phenomenal. There's nothing not to like about this 2022 Newmar Ventana. And I think that's going to wrap up my walkthrough of it. Again, I'm Brian Moritz with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. If you have any questions about this unit or any other unit in my inventory, feel free to give me a call at 303-482-6375 or shoot me an email at brian.moritz@transwest.com. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.